August 20th, 1989 was a warm summer day in Norristown, Pennsylvania. For Bill and Karen Kilgore, it seemed like the perfect time to catch up on some outdoor chores.
It was just a routine Sunday. I was cleaning up outside. I usually rake up and try and clean up the garden and everything. Bill had just got done mowing the lawn, and he was going to wash the cars, and he must have been going to get something to wash the car. He found his football.
Charlie. Hey, all right. Little ball, buddy. Yeah.
Chuck Faulkner lived next door to the Kilgores.
That was the summertime. It was nice outside. We just figured we'd start tossing the football around. And then that's when Bill missed the football. Bill went over to, get the football. He slid down the bank on his rear end.
Wet? Doesn't look it from here. Oh, Chuck, something's stinging me. You all right? No, I can't get up. They're on me. Something's stinging me. Something's stinging me, Chuck. Yeah, they're all over me.
He really couldn't get up because he couldn't get good footing. So that's when he turned around and reached up, and then I pulled him up from the bank.
Stinging me, Charlie.
My first concern was to try and get the bees off of his legs. That's where I could see them the most. I was trying to swat him off and not get stung at the same time.
Chuck, do you have anything that we could put on?
Man. Yeah, let me run in the house. I'll get some antiseptic. All right, thanks. Man, it's stinging.
So Bill and I just kind of stood outside, and I was still trying to help him, trying to understand what had happened to him.
Get him off me, Karen. All right, Bill, here you go. Here, try this. All right. Spray some more here.
Chuck came outside, and we sprayed his legs down, and he said he thought that felt better.
I asked him if he was allergic to them, and his response was no, he was not allergic to them that he knew of. And I figured that the first aid treatment would probably take care of it.
All right, if you need anything, give me a call, all right?
Thanks.
Okay. It really hurt, Karen.
Chuck went inside. We came inside. Bill was going to get something to drink, but he never made it that far.
We are getting there. Let me just check.
That was when I went into the bathroom, just checking out to see if we had anything to help him.
It had been less than 5 minutes since Bill had been stung by the swarm of yellow jackets.
Hey, Karen? Karen?
His face was red, his body was red, and he was sweating, and he told me, he said, Kara, my tongue's starting to swell. There's something strange going on here.
Okay, just relax, take a deep breath. You want something to drink?
He couldn't see, his vision was getting real blurry. So he said, you have to take me to the hospital.
Just relax, you okay?
I want to go.
All right, settle down.
I don't remember thinking it was very, very serious, and I don't know why. When I think about it now, it still gives me the chills to think, why didn't I see this coming? Why didn't I realize how serious this was?
Karen, my chest hurts. I can't breathe.
I kept saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And I could hear him gasping and gasping for breath. It seemed like he was seizing, his body was convulsing and shaking, and it wasn't long before he stopped talking.
I'm gonna help you.
And I just knew that if I was gonna do anything to save him, I had to do it. And if we would have had a car accident or something else, that was the chance I had to take. I knew that he needed help, and I had to get him there as quickly as I could. It's 5 to 10 minutes at the most to the hospital. It seemed like an hour. It seemed like I couldn't get there. We had turned one of the corners, and as we turned, his whole body must have gone limp because he knocked the gear shift into neutral.
All right, Billy, come on, you gotta move, honey, come on. Come on, Billy.
I looked at him and I thought he was dead. I remember thinking, what am I going to do without him? I don't know what to do. And then it was like a miracle. I just saw this ambulance. I remembered the paramedic looking at me, and I thought, this is it. This is the answer to my prayers.
Billy, come on, Billy.
In the ambulance, a 3-member crew led by paramedic Stephen Hare was transporting a patient to Montgomery Hospital.
I could see how upset she was. She had mascara running down her face. She was reaching over and screaming towards her husband. And at that point, I told my partner, I said, I think there's a medical emergency in the car behind us. We were only 2 blocks from the hospital. There was no traffic lights, no other things to impede our progress at that point, so we just continued in, and they followed us right in. What's wrong? She said, my husband's been stung by bees. I don't think he's breathing. Reached in, I shook him. I said, "Sir, are you all right?" He was ice cold to the touch, very diaphoretic. Didn't appear to be breathing at all. And his face, his neck were all swollen, which is typical from a severe reaction to bee sting.
Bill's condition was deteriorating rapidly.
We didn't take him into the emergency room because the care that he needed to be done immediately. To run in and get a litter and bring it out would have taken a good 2 minutes, which we felt that at the time he did not have.
Okay, happy and happy? We've got some epinephrine, which is adrenaline, a naturally occurring substance in you. Whenever you get excited, that's what really gets you pumping and so forth. And we gave somebody that through the endotracheal tube.
All right.
Okay, epi's in.
All right, back it down.
After he was intubated and the epinephrine was given, he became very combative with us. It took about 7 people to hold him down.
We're breathing for you.
We got some epi here?
It was like tearing my heart out to watch him. I wanted so bad for him to be okay, and he didn't know that. I don't think that he knew that. And I thought that maybe he was going to die, and I wasn't going to be able to say anything to him.
You got 2.
All right, get him into room 1.
And I just remember looking at him and thinking, I hope I see you again. I hope I see you sometime inside.
Look, we'll be with you in a minute, okay?
Bill responded well to treatment and was out of danger within a few hours.
Without question, Steve Hare, who was the paramedic outside that first initiated the care for this person, is definitely the hero in this situation.
His fast reaction and his knowledge of what to do was instrumental in preventing my death.
Under the care of allergist Dr. Richard Schwartz, Bill is receiving a series of shots to build up his resistance to yellow jacket stings.
About 20% of the population, if we tested them, would show some degree of allergy to the bee stings. However, only a very small percentage of those would go on and have a severe reaction such as Bill did.
I think in a lot of ways this pulled us closer together. There are times when I just stop and I look at him and I think that, you know, I could be all by myself now. You might not be here. And a lot of times I try and keep that in mind.
I feel extremely fortunate and lucky that I'm still here. There really isn't a lot of things I could have done differently to avoid this, except I guess one, I should have caught the ball.